Hi, I'm Richard Smith. I'm the representative from the Historic Commission on the MBTA Zoning Task Force. We've been working for almost a year now on new plans for meeting the state mandates. And those plans include design guidelines.
Hi, I'm Chuck Wisner, and I was one of the architects that helped develop the design guidelines with the task force. So we're here to talk about why, what, and how of the design guidelines.
We have design guidelines in the plan to meet the MBTA zoning requirements. Can you tell us why the town needs and how we can benefit from these guidelines for new multifamily housing?
Sure. The design guidelines are meant to preserve and enhance the character of the town that we all love. Manchester is unique because of its charming townscape, which evolved in response to its hills, twists and turns, the relationship to the ocean, and the creativity of the citizens. The guidelines are designed to protect and preserve what we love about Manchester, particularly its human scale and diverse architecture. They're not about making everything look the same. We're not Nantucket or Lexington, and instead they ensure that buildings designed within the state's zoning rules fit harmoniously with the town's existing character and neighborhoods. The town will benefit from these guidelines by maintaining its distinctive identity while also allowing thoughtful growth. These guidelines will help us, number one, preserve our town's unique architectural diversity. Two, ensure new developments complement existing structures. Three, maintain the human scale of our streets and neighborhoods. And four, guide growth in a way that enhances rather than detracts from our town's charm. Think of this as safeguarding our town's character while allowing for progress and development that maintain the essence of Manchester by the Sea as we move forward into the future.
Chuck, what are some specifics of the design guidelines? And can you tell us how they might apply to new multifamily housing that gets built in Manchester?
Sure. So the guidelines are like a helpful roadmap if you're building a new building within the new zones. And they consider architectural elements that preserve the character of the town and complement the existing neighborhoods. Here are some examples of what the guidelines might include. The size and scale of a building, how they fit in with nearby structures, roof lines, entrances, setbacks, window designs, finished materials, and important details like cornices, overhangs, and window trim. So the guidelines balance objective criteria and creativity, allowing for designs that work for the town. They're not rigid rules, but flexible standards that encourage creativity while respecting our town's character.
Well, how will these design guidelines be implemented? And how do we ensure that developers will adhere to them?
Good question. So we have a process that's laid out. First, the developer submits site plan review applications to the planning board. The planning board holds a public hearing on the application with notice to abutters, and the hearing is continued until the review is completed. Next, the planning board refers architectural plans to the design review committee. So the design review committee reviews designs to ensure compliance with the guidelines and meet with applicants and design teams to make any changes collaboratively. Next, the design committee submits recommendations to the planning board. The planning board then reviews the application to ensure compliance with the development standards, site plan review criteria, and taking into account the recommendations of the design review committee, and public comments are entertained. And finally, the planning board closes the public hearing, makes findings based on the development standards, review criteria, and the design review. They then make a recommendation to approve the application as submitted, approve the application with specific conditions with applicant's agreement, or disapprove the application based on noncompliance with development standards. Finally, the building inspector issues a building permit if the site plan review approval has been approved by the planning board and if all other applicable legal and regulatory requirements have been met.
It's important to remember that these design guidelines aren't about stopping development or making everything look identical. They're about preserving the character of the town of Manchester that we all love. So whether planning a small project or a large project, any new multifamily development will be guided by these design guidelines to make sure that it contributes to our town's unique charm. Thanks for tuning in.